This is the Unit 6 test review answers. So number 1, we're going to write the equation of the line shown on the graph in slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. M is your slope, and b is going to be your y-intercept. So we have to find the y-intercept and the slope. Typically, I look at the y-intercept first. So you're looking along the y-axis. Where does the line cross the y-axis? Well, that's right here. They intersect each other at 1, so the y-intercept is 1. So in the formula, we're going to replace the b with 1. And then we're going to look for slope. So with slope, what we do is we look along the line. So we're going along the whole line, the graph, and we're looking where else. So I know at 0, 1 here, there's a great coordinate. I'm going to also look for another coordinate. Right here's another one at -3, -1. I'm going to look for the slope. So you're looking at how steep it is. So we're going with slope. We got rise over run. Rise means up or down, and run is left or right. So I typically start with, when I look at my two coordinates, I start on the leftmost coordinate, and I'm going to go up first. So that's the rise. So I'm going to go up. Oh, that's crazy. I'm going to go up 1, 2. So it's going to rise 2. And then I'm going to run, meaning go right, in this case, right 3. So it's going to be 2 over 3, and that's your slope. So I'm going to, in the equation, have y equals 2/3 x, and then the y-intercept is 1. And here's my equation that represents that line. Number 2, we're going to do the exact same thing. So here we have, going to find your y-intercept. So that's 1, 2, 3. So the y-intercept is 3, so the b is going to equal 3 in the formula. And then we're going to need to find another coordinate. To find another coordinate, I'm just going to go along the line until, there's coordinates all the way along here. And it does not matter which ones you choose. I'm just going to go with the y-intercept, and I'm going to go to one coordinate just to the right. So if we're looking here, we're going to go zoom this in, go down 1, so the slope is down 1 to the right 1. So -1 divided by positive 1 is -1. So our slope is -1. So in the formula y equals mx plus b, we need to replace the m with -1 and the b with 3. -1 times x, that can be simplified to -x. And this is your best answer. Looking at number 3. Graph a line of the slope of -1/3 and a y-intercept of 4. Which of the equations would not represent this line? So we got to look at which ones, I typically do which ones will represent the line. So I'm looking for a slope of -1/3 and a y-intercept of 4. So what I do is I kind of block this out. So which ones would represent this line? Well, here's a slope of -1/3 and a y-intercept of 4. So that is not our answer. Number 1 does not have a slope of a -1/3. So that is one of our answers. And this actually has more than one answer. So we're going to look at C here, and we're going to solve. We have to know how to solve. You want to know what the slope is and the y-intercept. And we don't know from this form, this standard form. We need to get this into slope-intercept form. So we need to get y by itself. So this y needs to be solved for. It's got to be y equals. To do that, we have a term, the 2x, and we have a 6 times y. We're going to move terms first. If you ever have to move terms, you move them first. This is a positive 2x, so we subtract 2x. I'm getting this into y equals mx plus b form. So I want the x term first. So I'm going to move the 2x, or the -2x. First, the 6y will come down. To subtract 2x is going to turn into a -2x. And then it's subtracting 12 because it's a -12. This is 6 times y then. So we're going to divide by 6. Anytime you multiply or divide every term by whatever you're multiplying or dividing by. -2, 6, we can reduce that. You can divide 2 by 2, that's 1. 6 by 2 is 3. So that's going to end up being -1/3 x. And then 12 divided by 6 is 2, so subtract 2. So let's take a look at comparisons to, so we have, does it have a slope of negative 1/3? Yes. Does it have a y-intercept of 4? No. It does not. No y-intercept is negative 2. So this would not represent the line. So that is one of our answers. And let's do the last one. So we have 2x plus 6 equals 12. So it's going to be very similar. So we're going to subtract 2x. Oh, my goodness. We have 6y that's going to come down. We have a negative 2x. That 12 is positive, so it's going to be plus 12. Divide by 6, divide by 6, divide by 6. And we get the y is going to equal, again, negative 2, 6 can reduce to negative 1/3. 12 divided by 6 is 2. So we have the y-intercept or slope of negative 1/3, but we don't have the y-intercept of 4. So this also does not represent, so it represents the slope, but it does not represent the y-intercept. So that is also an answer. So A, C, and D. Number 4, a line that has a slope of negative 1, so that's M, and passes through the points negative 5, 6. So I write my x and y. And we're going to write the equation for this. So y equals mx plus b. Think about what we have already. We have the m, and we have an x and a y. So I'm going to replace the y with 6, the m with negative 1. This m times x means multiply. So we're going to multiply times negative 5. And then it's plus b. So we only have one variable in the whole problem. We can solve for that variable. Negative 1 times negative 5 is positive 5. And then we need to get the b by itself. So it's one step. We're going to move that 5 to the other side. 6 and 5 are like terms. The positive b is going to come down, and 6 minus 5 is 1. So in our final equation, we have y equals slope of negative 1, x plus the b. Well, negative 1 times x turns out to be just negative x. So negative x plus 1. If you wanted to do this on the graph, here's graphing. So if you want to do it by graphing, you're going to plot the point, negative 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So negative 5, 6. Then we need to know the slope. The slope is negative 1. Represent that as a fraction, so put it over 1. And we're going to use that slope. So go down 1, right 1, 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 until you get to the y-axis. So the y-intercept is 1. So you have your equation, y equals a negative 1, x, that's your slope, plus 1. And then negative 1 times x is just negative x. So you can get that way also. Okay, so the next one, we have the slope of m. There's m. You have your x and your y, just like the alphabet, x, y, z. In your equation, we have y equals mx plus b. What do we already have? Well, we have the y is negative 6. The m is negative 4/3. The x is 6. And we don't know the b. All right, multiplying fractions. Multiply the numerators. So from negative 4 times 6 is negative 24. 3 times 1 is 3. You could always do this in Desmos to check yourself. Negative 24 divided by 3 is negative 8. Solve for b. So add 8. Add 8. And you get 2 equals b. So our final equation is negative 1/4 x. That's your slope. And that's plus 2. If you wanted to do this on the graph, so this is graphically. Plot the point first. So 6 to the right. And 6 down. And then let's use that slope of down 4, right 3. Well, that's over here. That's we're getting away from the y-axis. We need to get closer to the y-axis. So instead of down 4 and right 4, I'm going to go up 4 and left, 3. Up 4, left 3. And there's my y-intercept of 1, 2, counting from 0 here. So y-intercept of 2. Number 6. So we're going to write the equation in slope-intercept form. I'm going to do a graph or algebraic first, then I'll do it graphically. So I have my 2 coordinates. And first we're going to find the slope, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then we have, so the slope is m, xy, xy, first coordinate, second coordinate, 1 minus -5, 2 minus 3, 6 over -1. So our slope is -6. So y equals -6 x plus b. And then you're going to choose one of the coordinates. So choose one of the points. Does not matter which one. I'm just going to go with 2, 1. That'll be a little bit easier. I'm going to substitute them in. So 1 equals -6 times 2 plus b. So -6 times 2 is -12 plus b. Add 12. And we get 13 equals b. So our equation is y equals the slope, which is -6, x plus 13. Now, if we're going to do this on the graph, plot your 2 points, your 2 coordinates. Let me get a different color. Plot your 2 coordinates, so 3, -5, and 2, 1. We now need to find the slope of this, so this is the line that we're trying to figure out the equation for. Find your slope between the 2 points. To do that, you are looking at just, I start on the left, I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so that's -6, and to the right 1. So the slope is -6 over 1, which is -6. We then have to use that, keep using it to then find more coordinates and go towards the y-axis. So if I'm going to go up 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and left 1, that'll stay on the same path. Now clearly my graph is a little off. I'd go up 6 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and to the right 1. Ooh. So that'd be up 6, right 1. That'd be on the y-axis. So clearly that's off the graph. So I have to think, how high would that be? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it's 5 above that. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it'd be at the y-intercept of 13. All right, follow in the points, write the equation again. So I'm going to do this algebraically, so xy, xy. What's my first coordinate? What's my second coordinate? It doesn't matter which one you choose for each. We then have y2 minus y1, so we're going to find slope first, so it's 2 minus 5. So the y's, subtract the y's, and then subtract the x's. 2 minus 5 is -3 over 1, which is -3. We then have this, so in the formula, y equals mx, so the m is 3, x plus b. I'm then going to choose one of the coordinates. I'm just going to choose 0, 5. So the y is 5. The x is 0. -3 times 0 is 0. So it's going to be b is going to equal 5. So in our equation, and actually if you look here, that's a y-intercept, 0, 5. If you were to plot that point, that's a y-intercept already. So you really didn't have to even do that to find the y-intercept, substitute everything in. So we have y equals -3x plus 5. There's your formula. If you're doing this by the graph, you got to plot your 2 points. 1, 2, so 1 to the right, 2 up, and then 0, 5. Find your slope of this. Down 1, 2, 3, right 1. So that's -3 over 1, which is -3. And then your y-intercept is 5. That's the y-intercept. All right, last couple problems here. So we need to know which ones are parallel. Parallel have the same slope. To find slope, I think it's easiest to just do rise over run on each point. So up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. To the right 1, 2, 3. So slope is 9 over 3, which is 3 in this case. So next one, we have down 1, right 1, 2, 3, 4. So down 1, right 4. That's going to be a -1/4 is your slope. My next one is up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To the right 2, 6 over 2. 6 over 2 reduces to 3, so this is a slope of 3. So slope of 3, slope of negative 1/4, slope of 3. Keep looking. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 over to the right 1, 2, 3. Remember, up and right are all positive. Down and left are all negative. So that line has a slope of 8/3. One more line to do. One more line. I'm going to start on this bottom one. I always start on the left side. So I go down 1, 2, 3. So negative 3. And right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So negative 3 over 9, which reduces down to negative 1/3. So there's our last slope. So now parallel. These are the same slope. Which ones are same? Looks like I don't have them actually labeled on my paper here. So it's, oh my goodness, that looks awful. So it's this one, which I believe is A and B, AB, and this one right here. Those are your parallel lines. They both have the exact same slope. Which lines are perpendicular now? Let's take a look at perpendicular. Perpendicular means they're opposite signs. So one's positive, one's negative. And they are reciprocals, which means the numerators and denominators flip the fractions. So it'd be like 1/3 and negative 3. So we have actually negative 1/3. I just mentioned that one. We have negative 1/3. If you were to flip that, it'd be 3 over 1, which reduces to 3. And one's positive, one's negative. So anything that has a 3 is, so it's this line and this one or this one are both perpendicular. And then lastly, our last problem, find the slope of the line perpendicular to the line containing. So you can plot these points if you want, or you can have y1, x1. So finding slope. Slope is your y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I have negative 2 minus 1 and negative 3 minus negative 5. So that's negative 3 over 2. So perpendicular means we need to switch the signs. So perpendicular slope will be switching the signs, so it'll be positive, and then flipping the fraction, so 2 over 3. So that's your perpendicular slope. Hopefully this helps. If you look this over and you understand, you're going to do well on the test. So